Good morning. The line of duty death of Connecticut State Trooper Aaron Pelletier on I-84 on May 30th is a stark reminder of the dangers law enforcement face on the roads. Joining me today to talk about those dangers and Connecticut's move over law is Chief Louis Fusaro of the Groton Town Police. Chief Fusaro also previously served with the Connecticut State Police. Chief, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
I know law enforcement's a big community. We just said in the intro you were a former member of the Connecticut State Police, but any police officer, whether it's Connecticut or anywhere, hears that kind of news. I see the black on your badge there. It's got to affect you.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we are a brotherhood. You know, people in some cases don't realize the dangers that we have in our line of work, but we certainly understand it among ourselves, and we look to support the families and the agencies that do suffer a loss. And this week was a tough week for Connecticut law enforcement, and particularly the Connecticut State Police losing Trooper Pelletier. And our hearts from their brothers and sisters and other agencies go out to them.
The thing that struck me about this is making a traffic stop, whether it's a disabled vehicle or pulling someone over for some kind of violation. It seems like about as mundane a piece of police work as you can get. And obviously every morning Trooper Pelletier and all the other men and women who work in law enforcement get in their cruisers and go off to work. And they know there's dangers out there, but gosh, this one, it seems like it was just such a normal part of the job.
It is. Well, we don't use the word routine that often in police work because there is no such thing as routine, but traffic stops are something that we're supposed to be doing. We're out there enforcing the traffic laws, Title 14 of the Connecticut General Statutes, making sure that our roadways are safe, going out there educating the public on how to be a safe motor vehicle operator, and also making them understand that when we're out there, that's our workplace. As with DOT workers, public works people, EMS, fire, that are out on our roadways doing emergency responses. It is a hazardous thing for us to do. It is somewhat mundane because we're all expected, whether you're a state trooper or a city or town police officer, be out there enforcing those traffic laws. It has the byproduct of us getting out of our vehicle and going out and interfacing with members of the public, and it can be dangerous, particularly when folks are out there at high speeds, when they're distracted, when maybe they're not operating a vehicle when they should be because they're under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, as was the case, it seems, in the case where Trooper Pelletier was killed. It seems like that individual may have been under the influence of something.
And that's what the charges reflect, and obviously that part will play itself out. Tell me, I want to talk about the move over law and I want to talk about it, but let's just talk about the mechanics of a traffic stop on a highway or on any busy road if it was in your town, say. What, as a police officer or a trooper, what are you trying to do and what are you taking into account to try to stay safe during that interaction?
Well, you know, there's an obligation on the person that we're stopping too. They need to know the rules of the road. And if they're being involved in a traffic stop, pull over to the rightmost part of the road, try and find a safe location. Troopers, police officers understand that. They don't expect someone to stop in the middle of the road. You'd be surprised what people do, though. There have been occasions in my career where you stop someone and they don't stop in a safe location. They stop in the left lane of the highway, or they don't pull over to the right. Pull all the way over to the right into a safe location. The police officer that's stopping you is going to try and create a little corridor for themselves that gives them a little bit more area of safety and refuge should they need to jump out of the way. They may come to the driver's side or they may come to the passenger side. When that happens, you know, people are inherently nervous because of that, you know, and that's natural. But provide those pieces of information that they're looking for. But they're going to do certain things during that traffic stop, and they're going to try and expedite it because the longer we're out there, the more hazardous it is for not just the police officer, but also for that person that stopped. And it isn't uncommon for not just police officers to be hit, but the individual that's in the vehicle too. So we want to get them out of that traffic stop as quickly as possible, so we do try and expedite it.
And you shared some stats with me from the National Police Officer Memorial that there's been 64 line of duty deaths already this year, and 7 of those were traffic stop related.
That's correct. Those are officers and troopers across the country that have been struck and killed, just like Trooper Pelletier. It is a dangerous part of our job, and it's something that we have very little control over in the sense that we're out there with the rest of the motoring public. When someone's not paying attention because they're on their cell phone, because they're driving recklessly, because they're speeding, or because they're under the influence of something, you know, we can't control that other operator. We try to provide as much safety for us and the person that we're stopping as possible, but we're out there doing our job. That's our office for that time, right? We're out there in our office, which is the side of the road, having an interaction with a member of the motoring public that's with the desired intent of changing their future driving habits so that they're driving safer in the future.
Tell me about the move over law. It's been around since 2009. What's the idea, and what's my obligation as a motorist?
Yeah, you know, in part of it, let's not look at it just as a law, but let's look at it as common courtesy. Again, that you see someone over on the side of the road, even if there's not a police officer with them or a DOT worker, if they're broken down, they're changing a tire, move over to the leftmost part of the lane, or move over to the next lane. So you're giving them a little bit of safe area to operate in. And a lot of people don't understand just how dangerous our roads are. And I see it all the time. I'm sure anybody that's been on our highways have seen someone that's broken down, or they've been, you know, they got a flat tire, they're out there trying to change it, and they don't understand that those cars are coming at a very high speed, and that is a very dangerous enterprise that they've just entered into. So get that car over to the right as much as you can, but for the rest of the people that see a traffic stop or see a disabled vehicle or see a DOT worker, move over to the left. Move into the next lane as far over as you can and give them that safe corridor to operate in.
And I say all the time, having covered news in this state for 25 years and probably like you being out on patrol, if I see people pull over to get something out of the back seat or do something like that on a highway, it makes me wicked nervous.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Get off the highway if you can. Take the next exit. Go onto an off-ramp or an on-ramp. Take a rest area. Go off onto a side street or a parking lot. Do it somewhere that's safe, because accidents do happen, and we have a lot of fatalities as a result of people hitting stopped cars on the side of the road.
Obviously, the focus right now in the state is mourning Trooper Pelletier. Got up, went to work, didn't come home to his wife and his boys. There's the GoFundMe page that's raised a lot of money for them. There's other charities that I'm sure will be stepping in to help. Is there some level of comfort while everyone who puts on the badge and the gun and gets in the cruiser knows that something could happen, be it a traffic stop or something else? Is there some comfort when you see everyone kind of come together to surround his family?
There is. From the day a person enters into this line of work, they walk in the doors of the academy, they become a police officer, they pin on the badge, they take an oath, they understand there's inherent risk in the job that they do. These things bring it home. These things, when you go to a funeral like I attended yesterday, and you hear some great words, Colonel Loftman of the State Police gave a tremendous eulogy, second only to the words that were shared by his wife. When you hear the spouse, the widow, with 2 young children, talking about the great things that their husband and father did, who's not going to be with them anymore, that does hit home for all of us. And that's why you see this outpouring of support from agencies, not just here in Connecticut, but across the country, from the Northeast, from all our surrounding states. I saw state troopers from as far as Colorado and New Mexico showing up for this. And that is that brotherhood you mentioned before, right? And that's the support mechanism. And what I can assure you, and I know to be true, is that will continue on for the rest of their lives. They'll have a brotherhood among those people that share in this line of work, but also those other people that have sacrificed members of their family. That's that thin blue line that many people sometimes don't understand and gets misrepresented. That's what it is. It's trying to take care of our folks when they need it the most.
Well, and you look at Trooper Pelletier also given a life-saving award yesterday. Just a couple weeks ago, responded to a crash and recognized that a motorcyclist had a life-threatening injury and took actions to save it. Another mundane, routine part of police work, and in that case, he stepped up and saved a life. So those men and women get on the job every day and do important stuff.
They do, and like you said, he received a life-saving award. What else is highlighted in yesterday's events is that he was a member of the State Police Tactical Team. He was at my department that morning that this happened, executing a search and seizure warrant with the State Police Tactical Team, and I know that they're hurting as well because they lost a member that was very close with them.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you being here to talk about him and to talk about this law, and hopefully people learn something to keep future members of law enforcement safe. Chief Fusaro, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.